Okay, guys, let's practice a little bit more here. Let's erase this. Let me point out one other thing here. Notice when I did this rationalizing in the last question here, this minus sign, I didn't change that, did I? I left that minus sign alone. It's the one that's outside of the root signs that I changed to the opposite over here, okay? Leave that minus alone. This is the sign you want to change here, okay? That's another common mistake that I see. I just want to do a few more of these two first kinds of limits types just to practice a little bit more. And then we'll move on to the harder ones, which are non-zero over zero. And we'll talk about that in later. Don't worry about that right now. Let's just try a couple more. Let's say I give you this guy. The limit is x goes to 2 of x to the 4 minus 16 over x squared minus 4. Or let's say just x minus 2. Say. How would you do that limit? Feel free to pause the video whenever you want and work it out yourself. You should know how to do this. Well, when I put 2 into the top and bottom, what do I get? 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. Put 2 into the bottom, I get 0 as well. So this is 0 over 0. So I can't just put the number in and get the answer right away like an easy kind of limit. I got to probably do some factoring here. Well, I can't factor the bottom, but the top I can factor. That's a difference of squares, isn't it? It's x squared minus 4 times x squared plus 4. Now, x squared minus 4, that can be factored again, right? X squared minus 4, that's x minus 2 times x plus 2. And this factor here, I'm just going to recopy it. And the bottom, I recopy as well. And now we see that we get some canceling here, right? These x minus 2's, they go away now. They cancel off and they leave 1 behind. So what do we get? We get x plus 2 times x squared plus 4. And now this is back to the easy kind of limit, type 1. Because I'm allowed just to put 2 in there right now, can't I? 2 plus 2, 4. And 2 squared plus 4. So we get 4 times 4 plus 4, 8. So the answer is 32 on that one. All right. So that's not too bad. So I think you're starting to get a feel for this. We'll just do a couple more examples in this video, and then in the next video we're going to move on to more difficult ones. Well, to the next styles of limits, okay? So right now we're just studying these two. I'm not giving you too many of those easy ones just because they're easy. You just put the number in, there's nothing else to it, right? How about something like this? The limit is x goes to 1 of x squared plus x minus 2 over x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay? Well, when I put 1 in the top, I get 1 plus 1 minus 2, which is 0. In the bottom, I get 1 minus 3 plus 2, which is also 0. So this is of the type 0 over 0. And there's no roots in it, so I shouldn't bother trying to rationalize. What I should try to do is try to factor. So let's factor the top and factor the bottom. And hopefully we're going to have some canceling. And after we do the canceling, the limit will become an easy kind where I just put the number in. Well, if I factor this, I get x plus 2 times x minus 1. This is just algebra, which I hope you know already. And the bottom, x here, x there, each is going to be a minus 2 and a minus 1, right? There we go. Now look, x minus 1 on top and bottom. Let's get rid of those. What does our new limit become? The limit is x goes to 1 of x plus 2 over x minus 2. And now we're happy because when I put 1 into here now, into top and bottom, I get 3 over 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So in other words, this is an easy kind of limit. Even though it's a fraction, it's still an easy kind of limit. I just put the number in. Huh? And so I get my answer of minus 3. So that's how you do that one. Let's throw another one at you. How about something like this? So the thing about limits is you kind of have to be ready for any style of limit that's presented to you. And really the only way to get good at that is just to practice. So limit as x goes to 9 of x squared minus 81 over root x minus 3. When I put 9 to the top and bottom, I get 9 squared minus 81, which is 0. The bottom is root 9 minus 3, which is 0. So this is of type 0 over 0. Since I see roots floating around, probably I'm going to have to rationalize. But this is also a difference of squares, isn't it? So maybe I'm going to have to, maybe I'll have to do some factoring as well. So let's start off by rationalizing. Let's multiply top and bottom by what? Well, if this is root x minus 3, what I should multiply top and bottom by is root x plus 3. So let's see what happens there. Now, you got to remember this. Don't multiply out the bottoms for sure, because these are, when you multiply this guy by this guy on the bottom, you're going to get something nice. But on the top, don't multiply these two guys out, okay? Because you'll just get a mess. Keep them factored. It'll make the next step easier. That's an important little trick to remember. Root x times root x is x. On the outer terms, we get positive 3 root x. In the inner terms, we get minus 3 root x. Those cancel. So I don't have to write it. Minus 3 times positive 3 is minus 9. Now you say, oh, I don't get any canceling. Well, this guy here can be factored, right? So let's factor him, and then we will get some canceling. So x squared minus 81 is x minus 9 times x plus 9. And so we'll do that, and then we see that the x minus 9 is what's giving us problems, right? Because that's what's making 0 on the bottom. But now we cancel it off and it's gone. So we're just left with the limit as x goes to 9. Try to squeeze this in here of x plus 9. Notice I'm still writing the limit sign of root x plus 3. And now let's just put in 9. This is an easy kind of limit now, because we can just put the number in. 9 plus 9, 18. And here we have root 9 plus 3. Root of 9 is 3, right? So it's like 3 plus 3. So it's 18 times 6. Oh, what's that? 18 times 6. So it's like 60 and 48. 108, is that right? Yeah, I think so. So here the answer is 108, okay? So we've covered these two kinds of limits right now, and now we're going to move on to cover the third kind of limit, which is kind of the most tricky one, which gives students the most trouble, but we'll cover it completely, and hopefully it'll make sense to you by the time we're done.